Second lesson of history I have already completed, no? New kings and kingdoms. So I would like all of you to please keep your phones on mute. Yeah, second lesson of history is already completed, so we will be going for the third lesson in your history. This third lesson of your history continues after the end of your second chapter. Second chapter we ended. I want all of you to please keep it on mute. Aditya Tupat. Aniket Patil, mute. Yes, Shrishti, the second lesson which is completed, question and answers you have to write in your book. You have to do the map. There is a map in your book. What is that flow chart on the first page? You will write that map and then you will draw the timeline. There is a timeline also, and then you will write the question and answers. Okay. 2 minutes, students. I will be very back. 2 minutes. If you have already written the first chapter, it is fine, not a problem. Otherwise, please start writing from the second chapter only. There is some student by the name of Solo Gamer. I want you to please join with your correct name. Chapter 1, please do not write the question and answers of chapter 1 history. I am repeating once again. Everyone, please listen carefully. First chapter of history, do not write the question and answers. If you have already written it, then it is okay. Leave it like that. Is that clear? Hmm. Okay, and along with the question and answers, before you start writing your question and answers, in the first page of every chapter, you have to change your name in Google. If you have created an account with Solo Gamer, you should be able to know how to change it also. We're coming back to the lesson. The first chapter, sorry, first page in your book, you will have a chart, a flow chart that I want you to write in your notebook. And below that, there is a timeline also. That also I want you to write in your notebook. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah. Regarding the map book, I will tell you later. Map book, I will tell you later. Hmm? Okay. So today we are going to learn the next step in our history. Last in the previous chapter, we learned about new kings and kingdoms, how there was a change in India from many different types of dynasties coming into power. There was a struggle for power in the form of a tripartite struggle. Mainly, the struggle for power was in the northern part of India. That was called as the tripartite struggle. During this entire change in dynasties and all that, our India saw lots of attacks from outside kings from outside, mainly from Afghanistan, from Turkey. These countries lie to the north of India. From these countries, we saw many people who would come and attack and would try to loot the wealth from India. The main intention over here was to loot the wealth from India and take it back to their countries. Yeah. So that was the idea of these invaders who were coming from different countries, mainly from Afghanistan and from Turkey. And finally, from Turkey, we saw a huge invasion, and these people who invaded India formed their own kingdom in the northern part of India in Delhi, and thus began the rule of the Delhi Sultanate. This was called as the Delhi Sultanate because these kings in Arabic they were called as sultans. The king in Arabic is called as sultan. So that is why this is called as the Delhi Sultanate, the kingdom of the sultans. Right? So the first dynasty that we come across is called as the slave dynasty. So now you would be, wondering, okay, I want to know who is this Usha K. I am not able to see the student over here. I think I'm seeing a parent. I don't know where the student is. Anyway, let me continue. Yeah. So the first dynasty which we come across, and it is there in your textbook also, it is called as the slave dynasty. Yeah. Students, when I am teaching a lesson, please ask your doubts at the end. At the end of every lesson, I always give time for doubt. Which lesson you have to write, what lesson you have to write, how you have to write. All these doubts, either you can put it in the school app or you can ask me at the end of the lesson. Please do not continuously send messages about which lesson to write, when to write. Am I clear over here? A school app is provided for you. You can clear your doubts about the lesson in that app. When I'm teaching the lesson, please concentrate on the lesson that I'm teaching. This is for Gulkund. I don't know the student's name. Gulkund. Okay, yeah. So as I was saying, the first dynasty which was formed in Delhi under the Delhi Sultanate, this was the slave dynasty. Now, why it is called as a slave dynasty is because, sorry, because Muhammad Ghori invaded from Turkey into India. He conquered Delhi. He took the entire control of Delhi, and instead of ruling Delhi himself, he had a very trusted slave, a trusted servant, whom he gave the entire control of Delhi. This trusted slave's name was Qutbuddin Aibak. Qutbuddin Aibak. I want you to all have a pencil in your hands and you can underline this person's name in your textbook. Qutbuddin Aibak. He was the first founder of the slave dynasty in Delhi. In your textbooks, you can see the Qutub Minar. This is a very famous monument of India. It is situated in Delhi. Have you all heard about the Qutub Minar? Has anybody seen this Qutub Minar? Oh, you have seen the Qutub Minar. That is very good. Qutub Minar is a very beautiful monument and it is called as Qutub Minar because it was built by Qutbuddin Aibak. Since this monument was built by Qutbuddin Aibak, the name Qutub Minar has come. It is it is there in your textbook. The Qutub Minar is there in your textbook on page number 22. It is there. The Delhi Sultanate is a noble example for the glory of medieval India. Medieval India means the middle part of the history of India, not ancient history, not modern history, but the middle part of the history of India. It is called as medieval India. Its culture, art, and architecture that exists even today is praiseworthy. If you go to the northern part of India in Delhi, you will see very beautiful architecture over there. A fine example is the Qutub Minar. We have the Red Fort. Then we have so many monuments which are there in the northern part of India. It is a fine example of the architecture which was created by the Delhi Sultanate. The Sultans of Delhi ruled for quite a long period. For almost 320 years in the history of India, it was ruled by the Sultans of Delhi. And during this period, there were lots of achievements in different fields like art, like architecture, like administration. In all these different fields, there were very lots of achievements. Different kings, different sultans used to have their own way of administering, and they used to put lots of different ideas into the administration. I hope everybody is able to see the PPT. Bhargavi says she cannot see. Can you see the PPT now? Yes, sir. Okay, yeah. So, in your textbook on page number 23, you will see a list of all the major rulers of the Delhi Sultanate. You will see a table. There are five different sections. That is the slave dynasty, the Khalji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid dynasty, and the Lodi dynasties. These dynasties, no, they have been coming one after the other. Okay, one after the other. After the slave dynasty, we have the Khalji dynasty. After the Khalji dynasty, we have the Tughlaq dynasty. After that, then we have the Sayyid dynasty. And the last of the Delhi Sultanate was ruled by the Lodhis, that is the Lodhi dynasty. So, this particular table which you have in your textbooks on page number 23 is an important one. You will do this table in your notebooks also. Okay. So these are the time periods during which the dynasties ruled from 1206 to 1290. For a period of almost 85 years, we have the slave dynasty. The Khalji dynasty from 1290 to 1320, a period of 30 years. The Tughlaq dynasty from 1320 to 1414, almost 95 years. This Tughlaq dynasty was there. The Sayyid dynasty from 1414 to 1450. That is a period of again 35 years, the Sayyid dynasty, and last the Lodi dynasty from 1451 to 1526. That is approximately a period of around 75 years. The Lodi dynasty ruled. And this entire period was covered by 32 kings. 32 different kings ruled during this period of roughly around 300 years. So, first, let us see this slave dynasty. Let us see the rulers who ruled in this slave dynasty and what are their specialities. First, we have Kutubuddin Aibak. As I told you, he was the one responsible for building the Qutub Minar. Unfortunately, he could not complete building the Qutub Minar, and the completion of this Qutub Minar was done by a different king. After Qutbuddin Aibak, we have Aram Shah Qutbuddin. Then we have Iltutmish. After Iltutmish, we have Rukuddin Firoz Shah. After Rukuddin Firoz Shah, we have Razia Sultan. Now, Razia Sultan is another famous ruler. Unfortunately, she ruled for only 4 years, but she is the only woman who has ruled in this entire Delhi Sultanate in the entire period of 320 years. Razia Sultan is the only woman you will see in the entire list who has ruled for a period of 4 years. I want all of you to please stay on mute. The seventh standard, I always have a problem that someone is unmuted and noise keeps on coming from there. So please, everyone, stay on mute. Okay, yeah. Uh, After Razia Sultan, we have Muzuddin Bahram. After Muzuddin Bahram, we have Giyasuddin Balban. And then after Giyasuddin Balban, we have Muzuddin Khaikabad. These are the entire eight leaders, eight kings who have ruled under the slave dynasty. Of course, all of them are not important. Few of them ruled for very short periods of time and maybe did not do much. But the most noteworthy, you can say, or the important rulers that we have are Qutbuddin Aibak, Iltutmish, Razia Sultan, Giyasuddin Balban. These are the important rulers. Now, one by one, we can see from your textbooks what are their accomplishments, what are their achievements. If you see Qutbuddin Aibak, his accomplishments are he constructed the Quwat ul Islam Mosque, and then that was in Delhi, and in Ajmer also he had another mosque by the name of Adi Din Ka Jhunpra. These are two mosques again that he had constructed, and then he died during the while playing a game of polo. He had an accident, and during that period he died. After Qutbuddin Aibak, another strong ruler who came to power was Iltutmish. Now, Iltutmish is considered as a ruler who expanded the territory in the northern part of India. It was not only Delhi which was under the rule of the Delhi Sultanate. Iltutmish expanded the area, and the entire northern part of the Indian territory came under the slave dynasty's rule. He ascended the throne in 1210 Common Era and had great opposition from the Turkish nobility as well as external revolts. In order to win the support of the nobles, he granted many territories and concentrated his efforts on strengthening the empire while recovering lost territories. He also strengthened the northwestern frontier and his empire to safeguard against the Mughal invasion. So the major parts of the northern parts of India became strong under the rule of Iltutmish. Chinmay mute. What is that? Who is this now gaming with what? What names you people have? Gaming with Vihana. What is the student's name gaming with Vihana? Gaming with Vihan. I want the student's name, otherwise you'll be okay. Yeah, so that was about Iltutmish. The next important ruler who we have in the slave dynasty is Razia Sultan. Now, the reason why Razia Sultan became the ruler was Iltutmish did not have any son, and he trusted Razia more than his younger son. Now, Razia was a very, very able ruler. The problem was in those days, none of the women were given any kind of duty or any kind of power to rule an empire. The people who were there in the court of the king, they never thought that a woman should be given the role of a emperor or a ruler. But Razia Sultan was a totally different kind of woman. She had the discipline, she had the power to rule the people, and she knew all the tactics, all the things that were required to run an empire. And that is the reason why her father decided to make her the Sultan. That was Razia Sultan. She had a lot of opposition, and lot of many enemies she had in the court because mainly they did not like to be ruled by a woman. That is the reason why she had many enemies in the court. And due to this, due to this, there was a fight in the court. There was a revolt. People fought against her, and many people who did not like her ultimately killed her. She was killed. Razia Sultan was killed mainly because people did not want to be ruled by a queen in those days. The other important ruler after Razia Sultan we have is Ghiyasuddin Balban. Now Ghiyasuddin Balban was actually a prime minister, and he became powerful, and he took the rule of the Delhi Sultanate from Naziruddin Muhammad. Naziruddin Muhammad was the younger brother of Razia Sultan, and he became the king for a short period of 20 years after Razia Sultan. Now, from Naziruddin Muhammad, Ghiyasuddin Balban became the Sultan of Delhi. Now, the reason why we are learning only about a few kings is because these people are more important in the achievements that they had, or in the architecture that they have created, or in the administration that they have brought about in New Delhi. That's the reason we are learning only about a few kings and not about all the kings that we have that are there. Now, when Balban ascended or became the king or became the Sultan, there again was lots of opposition. Whenever a new king was selected, there was opposition because there are different kinds of people who want to become the king in their place. That's why there is opposition and there is fighting inside for becoming the king. He laid the foundation for a centralized government and asserted the need for noble origin and prestige of the monarchy. So he is one of the first sultans in Delhi who created a centralized government or a centralized rule in Delhi. He established a very efficient spy network, a spy system, to keep himself informed and to ensure the loyalty of the people towards the throne. He broke the power of the. There were a few group of 40 people in the court of the Delhi Sultanate who were opposed to the rule of Balban. So he used his spy network to break the unity of these 40 people, and he put them into jail. So these were all the kings in the slave dynasty. So now I want, okay. So now I want you students to tell me if anybody has any doubts about the slave dynasty. You can either unmute and speak or you can put it in the chat box. See, this dynasty, it is called as slave dynasty because they were not actually kings. These people, they had come from Turkey, and in Turkey, they were not the kings, but they were actually the servants in Turkey. But Muhammad Ghori, when he brought them into India, he made them as the rulers of Delhi. That is why they are called as slaves and slave dynasty. Okay. Any other doubt by anybody? Any particular word which you have not understood? What do you want to write, Putti? Let me just first complete the lesson, no? Then you can write whatever you want to write. Yeah. Any other doubt by anyone? If not, then we will move to the next one. Can you please tell the activities of social science? Whenever I give an activity, you will be doing that activity. I will not tell you the activities in advance. Okay? Orthodox. Orthodox means a very old way of thinking. Not a modern way of thinking, but a very old way of thinking. That's the meaning of orthodox. Okay, Bhargavi, what doubt do you have? Please tell me. एक मिनट, हाँ, 1 मिनट, क्या हो गया भाई? Yes, sorry, tell me again, please repeat. I'm not able to understand. Can you please repeat once again?